Well, I don't know if it's so much just about Sound City. I mean, I think that's sort of the catalyst for the story, but I think it, from what I understand, I haven't seen the movie, all of it, but I mean, and this is a conversation we've been having just as friends and musicians for the last 10 years since, digital recording became sort of the prominent way of recording, and I think obviously Sound City has this amazing history of everything from Tom Petty to Fleetwood Mac to Nirvana, et cetera, et cetera. But it also kind of, from what I understand, delves into this sort of the battle between digital and analog, and the good and the bad of maybe both, And I think that, like I said, Sound City is sort of the catalyst for the whole story, really.
And where do you sort of fall on the side of recording? Are you pro
analog man? I really am. I at least, especially for rock and roll. I mean, if I don't feel like I'm hearing people really singing and really playing their instruments, and they're trying to call it rock and roll. Now, hey, there's lots of different kinds, and I love songs with drum machines, and I understand that like things like auto-tune and stuff can be used as an effect, but when someone's doing it to mask, a lack of ability or whatever, and then try to sell you that as real, honest rock and roll. I mean, rock and roll is a wide spectrum, obviously. It's the Stones, and it's Fear, and it's, Slipknot, and it's Foo Fighters, and it all to me falls under one thing. When I was young, all those years ago. Yeah, I do actually. I mean, I think all music has become sort of compartmentalized, to where, you could turn on the radio back when I was a kid and hear a Guns N' Roses song, and then a Paula Abdul song, and then a whatever, kind of a mix. And I guess there's still pop radio that kind of plays some sort of version of a mix of music. But yeah, I do think rock and roll is different, some of it. But I also think that if you dig deep, you can find really great bands and really great musicians and really honest. Because to me, I think the problem with digital recording and sort of the manipulation of instrumentation and vocals is it's kind of dishonest to me. And some would totally fucking disagree, They really would, and that's fine. I'm sure Jay-Z would say I'm an asshole and I don't know what I'm talking about. And that's fine.
What's your fondest memory of being in the studio and recording that?
This record?
No, from back in the day.
Oh, from back in the day, like at Sound City?
Yeah.
I only really recorded at Sound City once, and that was about right when I joined the band. And and it was for some soundtrack or something like that. It was a song called A320 that we did for, I think, a Godzilla soundtrack back in '98 or whatever the fuck it was. So I don't really necessarily, it's like I said, for some people the movie is the story, I suppose, of the studio, but it's kind of got a broader sort of context and ideal, if you will, behind it, I think. So, I couldn't really say my fondest memory of the studio is listening to Fleetwood Mac,
Can't beat that.
Yeah.